In 380 AD, the church father Jerome came across a single Greek word in scripture that shook him to the core. He wrote, "This verse is terrifying. Most modern Bibles have mistranslated it. And if you understand what Jerome found in the Greek, everything changes about your struggle. But first, you need to see what he saw. The verse is Luke 4:18. Most translations read, 'He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives.' Sounds comforting. But Jerome didn't read it in English, he read it in Greek. And what he found was a war document. There's a word hidden here that destroys shame at its root. But before I show you that word, you need to understand the context. This was Jesus' first public declaration. He stood in the synagogue, unrolled the Isaiah scroll, and announced his mission. This wasn't poetry, it was a military briefing, and one word reveals why the enemy targeted you. First, notice who Jesus came for. Captives. In Greek, that's aichmalotos. Aichmalotos doesn't mean sinner, but before I tell you what it means, there's something about ancient warfare you need to understand. Armies didn't capture random civilians. They captured threats, officers, men who could damage their kingdom. Aichmalotos meant a prisoner of war, a soldier taken during combat. That's you. The enemy didn't stumble across you. He targeted you because you're dangerous. Now, you're ready to see what terrified Jerome. Jesus said he came to bring liberty to these prisoners of war. The Greek word is aphesis, and aphesis doesn't mean freedom. But before I tell you what aphesis actually means, you need to understand where this word appears. Aphesis is courtroom language, used in ownership disputes, slave transfers. When aphesis was pronounced, the previous owner lost all legal rights, permanently. Here's what Jesus actually declared. Aphesis means the legal cancellation of ownership, the official revocation of a claim. So Jesus announced, "I have come to legally cancel Satan's ownership claim over captured warriors. You were taken. But the enemy no longer owns you. His claim has been revoked. Think about the sin that keeps taking you down. You've wondered if God can still use you, if you're too compromised, if you've disqualified yourself. But aichmalotos reveals you're not a failure, you're a captured soldier. The enemy targeted you because you're a threat. And aphesis means your release papers have been signed in blood. Satan's ownership claim? Incinerated. This is what terrified Jerome. Satan holds men in bondage after they've come to Christ, not through legal ownership, but through shame. He keeps showing up with fake papers, waving your failures in your face. Remember what you did. Remember what you watched. You're mine. Aphesis means those papers are ash. The court ruled against him. Stop negotiating with the defeated enemy. Every time you fall, you hand the enemy something you can't afford to lose. Not your salvation, your authority. There's one Hebrew word that reveals why men caught in this cycle lose their spiritual power. And the enemy has hidden this connection. Because the moment you see what you're actually forfeiting, you'll burn the ships. Every time you fall, you promise it's the last time. You pray harder, try accountability, install barriers. But the pull remains because you don't understand what's actually at stake. There's a word God uses about himself that exposes what you're forfeiting. And before I show you that word, you need to understand something about orphans. Orphans develop a specific survival pattern. They seek comfort in counterfeits, false intimacy that promises but never delivers. And most men don't realize they're spiritual orphans. That's where the Hebrew word comes in. The word appears when Jesus cried out in his darkest moment. It's the word children use when they're hurt and need comfort. But before I tell you what this word means, there's something about your struggle you need to understand. Studies show 95% of men caught in cycles of compromise report one common factor. Not theology, not opportunity. Father wounds, absent fathers, critical fathers, emotionally distant fathers. The correlation is too strong to ignore. Here's the word. The word is Abba, and Abba isn't what religion taught you. But before I tell you what Abba actually means, you need to see where it appears in Scripture. Romans 8:15. You received the spirit of adoption by whom we cry out, Abba. It's courtroom language, legal adoption. The word appears at the moment of identity shift, from orphan to son. Now you're ready to understand what Abba actually means. Abba doesn't mean father formally. Abba means daddy, papa, the cry of a secure child. Is what children say when they're hurt and need comfort, when they need to be held. So here's what Scripture reveals. You're not seeking images. You're seeking Abba's acceptance, not chasing the screens. You're chasing the father love you never received. Think about your father, the conversations that never happened, the affirmation you never heard, the embrace that never came. You've been medicating that wound with substitutes that promise connection but leave you emptier. Every click is a wounded boy seeking what dad never gave. But pixels can't heal what only Abba can reach. The screens can't fill the father hole. Here's what the enemy knows. As long as you're chasing counterfeits, you stay powerless. A man seeking father love in false intimacy surrenders the authority sons carry. Until Abba's love floods that wound, you fight with no spiritual weight. That's why the enemy keeps the trap baited. He's not after your purity, he's after your power. Declare this: Abba, I've been medicating father wounds with false intimacy. I receive your father love now. You accept me, you delight in me. I am your son. The wound is yours to heal. My authority is restored. Type, Abba heals me, in the comments. Because you're not trapped in a cycle. You're an orphan becoming a son.